Hello everyone, welcome to our 10th lecture on Scratch game programming. Today's topic is cloning sprites. So cloning is very important if you want to design some quality games. So let's see how cloning works. So let's change the file name to cloning. So remember that in the last lecture I talked about duplicating, and you saw that when you duplicate a sprite there are random sprites all over the screens, but we want to build an army, so we want to have sprites like aligned, so there should be aligned, so there should be 5 cats and they should have same gap between each other, right? And their height should match. So if you want to do something like that, you need to use the feature cloning. So let's say we want to build an army of cats. So how do I do that? So first thing, events, I need when flag clicked, and then what do you want to do? You want to make clones, right? So create a clone of myself. When you say myself, it's this sprite. Okay, sprite1. So let's name to cat. So when you say myself, that means it's you, right? So when the flag is clicked, you want to create a clone of myself. But if you connect it and click flag, there will be only one clone, but you want at least 4 or 5. So how do you do that? So I'm going to use a feature called repeat. So if you use the feature repeat, that means it's going to repeat this code, that is create clone of myself 10 times. But I don't think we can fit 10 sprites here. So to fit 10 sprites, we can shrink this cat. Okay, so now it's a good size. Instead of 10, for now let's use 5. Okay, and one more thing, remember you want to start at this position. So how can I get this position? If I go to motion, I can see it from this go to block. So if I move it, you can see that the value changed, right? So I want to start it from here. So that's the position. So when you start, every time you want to start from this position. That's why you need this go to x negative 185 and y negative 108. So that's the position of this sprite, and you are repeating it 5 times. So let's see what happens. We click flag. I don't see anything, right? Why is that? So let's try to drag the first cat. Wow, I see there is another one. There is another one. There's another one, another one, another one. So the problem is when you are creating clone of myself, you are not changing the position, right? Remember, you are starting at where? This is your position, x negative 185 and y negative 108. So when you are creating these clones, you are creating the clones on this sprite. So all these sprites or the clones are on this cat. That's why you cannot see them. If I click this, I have 6 sprites. I'll tell you why we have 6, though we said repeat 5 times, but you can see 6 of them, right? So I'll explain that too. But remember, you are not changing the position, so all these clones are on the first sprite, which is cat. So how can we place them like this? So I want to have all these cats aligned, okay, and one after another. So to do that, we need to change the position. So every time you make a clone, you need to move the first sprite away from the clone, right? So how do I do that? So one more important thing, to do that I need to know the width of this cat. You can guess what should be the width of this cat, but I'm just trying to show you how can you calculate the width. So for example, let's use this line, and I'm drawing a line here. So this is my line, right? And I want to put it on top of this line, right? So that's more or less the width of this cat, correct? And I want to see what is the width. So how do I do that? For example, let's think that there is a ruler. I'm going to change the color. This is the starting point and this is the end point, right? So if I can place a ruler here, I can find the width of this cat, correct? So if you know coordinates, it's easy for you to find the width. How do you do that? I check the position here, so I can see what is the value of x, and then later on I can see the position of the value of x here. And if I deduct this value from this value, I can find the width. So let's say this is 20 and if this is 10, I can say that the length of this line is 10, right? Okay, so let's make it simpler. So let's place the cat here, and I am going to draw the line here. I'm going to put this on top, and again I want to change the color. This is the starting point and this is the end point for this cat, right? So what is the starting point? Let's change it to brush. Remember, you can change the width. So what is this position? So if I place it here, I can see that x is 140. Remember, when you are considering left to right, it's x, okay? I can say this position is 140. So let's write 140. And what is this position? I can see that it's 211, right? So this position is 211. So if I subtract 140 from 211, I can get the width of my cat. So let's get the width. You can also just guess the width. You don't have to do this calculation, right? But I'm just curious to show you that how can you precisely calculate the width. So I can see that the width is 71. Okay, this is important. That means if you want to make clones, you want to place the next clones at least away from the first clones. So you need to make sure that there is a gap. So the width is 71. So that means if you move the first sprite, let's say 80. So if you move the first sprite after making the first clone by 80, you will see that there is a gap. So let's see what happens. Let's go to the coding, and remember we found that it's 71. Okay, the width is 71. So let's change this to let's say 80, because I want to keep some distance between the clones, right? So move 80 steps. So what it is doing, very careful. So First you go at this position, then you go inside this repeat block. Inside this repeat block you are creating a clone, and then you are moving your sprite, that means the first sprite, 80 steps. Remember, it's going from left to right. Okay, we're going away 80 steps. Then you keep repeating the process 5 times. Let's see what happens. So I can see that there is a nice gap between these clones, but I think the gap is too much, so I can change it to 75. Remember, we know that the width is 71, right? So if you use 71, that means they'll be like very close to each other. Okay, so let's see. Now I can say I can fit all of them. But one more thing, why we have 1 2 3 4 5 6? I said 5. Remember, you started with a cat, and then you are making 5 clones, but you have the original sprite. So which one is your original sprite? What do you think? Remember, when you create the clone, you are moving your first sprite away from the clone. Okay, because this code is written for this cat. You're making a clone, and then you're moving the first sprite away from the clone by 75 steps. So that means the 6th cat is your original sprite. So what you can do, if you want to keep 5, you can change it to 4, or you can say hide. If you use hide, that means your last sprite, which is the original sprite, will be hidden. So let's see what happens. So I can see that we have 5 sprites. If you look carefully, you see there is a flash of the first sprite, and then it's gone. So let's try it again. See, there is a flash. So that was the first sprite, and then because you used hide, that's why it's gone. If you do not use this show, next time you cannot see it, okay, because it's hidden. So make sure you use show. So try again. So I can see we have 5 sprites. So this is how cloning works. In the next lecture we will see how can we make clones, like we just have one row, but we want to make columns too, so there will be a block of cats. So I'll show you that next time. Alright everyone, so that's it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.